I give the Browns credit for making their decision. And their decision yesterday was yet again, Deshaun Watson cannot play quarterback. It's got to go to P.J. Walker. There's a lot of questions asked to Kevin Stefanski. Answers that we all want, but we don't know if they actually help. And the biggest issue that we face with all of this as a fan base, as supporters of the Cleveland Browns, and probably even people in the building themselves, what's the future hold? I'm not talking about this weekend against Seattle. I'm not talking about the rest of this season. Has everything that has gone on with Deshaun Watson this year, has it changed how you view the Browns' future with him as their starting quarterback? This is something that we have faced before, sure. It's something that, I want to say faced before, but it's an injury. This isn't something completely out of left field. It seems like it's been mishandled. I don't know. It seems like it's maybe been misdiagnosed. I don't know. And this week-to-week, day-to-day stuff is really what I think is killing people. And you made the decision to go with P.J. Walker this weekend yet again. Cool, fine. That's your decision. I appreciate that. But the fact remains, the bigger picture is where I'm maybe starting to be concerned a little bit. We'll talk about all of it right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. Hey, it's Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Ryan rocking his Cavs hat this morning. Nice win for the Wine and Gold last night. Little dicey. Of course, they unfortunately did not cover either on a one-point game, but what are you going to do about it, Ryan?
I'm not going to do anything, Matt. I'm just happy to get a Cavs dub. Matt, how about this? I was listening to a little recap of the game today. I didn't fact check this, but it's a legit podcast, so I can't imagine they would just throw a stat out there.
Is it named just Legit Podcast?
No.
Okay. That's a good name for a podcast, a legit podcast.
First time in 23 years that the Cavs have won a season opener on the road.
Well, and that's shout out. I saw that from Chris Fedor. So Chris from Cleveland.com. Then I also saw from Justin Rowan. Justin hosts a pod for the Cavs, and he kind of mentioned this for Chris brought this up. That ironically, do you know the last time that the Cavs won a season opener on the road? It was against the New Jersey Nets. So now they're Brooklyn, but it's, the same thing. The Nets were the last team that the Cavs did that. So maybe knowing that going in should have, they didn't cover whatever, fine. Max Strus, unconscious from a time from behind the arc. Thank God we finally got some shooters around some of our big guys, but great game last night. I'm just so happy the Cavs are back. We will talk a lot on Wine and Gold coming up, recapping that game. Some big news about Myles Garrett. And Zach Lowe, of course, ESPN, and you talk about good names for a podcast. The Low Post podcast there with Zach, very well done. He did his NBA tiers. And not like crying tears, because I feel like I cry sometimes when it comes to the Browns. The Cavs don't really make me cry. But the tiers of the rankings of the teams. And he actually, I think, gave the Cavs a very high compliment with the tier that he put them in. So we'll get to that a little bit later. We got our bracket for your favorite Halloween character. I love RJ, the movie critic. He tweeted, "Where's Leatherface?" Don't worry, RJ. We didn't forget him. Of course, he was in. So vote on that at Matt Fontana Show. We'll jump into Time Hop. We got a lot to get to this morning as well. Thursday Night Football. We'll get to our bets with Tipico a little bit later on the show. Use that code BIGPLAY150. So another day, another Wednesday that Deshaun Watson does not practice, and he is just ruled straight out by Kevin Stefanski yesterday. So we're going to jump right into it because there's a lot of questions that I think were poignant to ask Kevin Stefanski yesterday. And I want to start all of this by saying I know Kevin Stefanski can't sit up at that podium and tell us the exact truth. I'm not saying that he's lying, but there's just things that are guarded. He can't get up there and just straight up say, hey, this is what we're dealing with. This is what's going on. And the issue, when there's ambiguity with it, when there's not clear answers, and again, it's not that we're privy to it, or we should be, but Ryan, the mind starts to wander. And I think where a lot of people are at with the Browns is this like a Browns versus Watson thing? And I know instantly people come back and say, oh, look at the media. Look at us. We're creating this drama. I don't want it. I don't. But I'm searching for answers. I am searching for answers through this whole thing. And as it continues on, the question is like, can he play or can't he play? Is this a pain thing? Like, I'm sorry, Ryan. It seems like they're putting this into Deshaun Watson's hands. He can't throw. He can't play. Why didn't he go on IR? It's maddening. It is so frustrating to go through this. And maybe we'll be better for it. I don't know. I mean, we've been through enough. You would think we're pretty, weathered fans now. But there's just something about this that nobody likes. And I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to create drama. Nobody here likes the drama. The fans don't want it. But the vibe that I am getting from the fan base, not from the team, I'm going to talk about the fan base. And people out there listening and watching can tell me if I'm wrong. This is starting to creep into the Browns and Deshaun Watson are not on the same page, and now they are at odds with one another. That this is a thing where the Browns feel like he can play, and he's not. Now, Kevin Stefanski comes out, and what does he say? Watson wants to play. He's working hard to do all of this. Then why, for the second time this season, Ryan, Kevin Stefanski has made the declarative statement that Deshaun Watson will play the following week, and then he does not. Then you start adding he's medically cleared, and there's no way to further the injury, but now we have residual swelling. Is it getting worse? Can he not throw? It's getting bad. This is getting bad. It is. And this is just me speaking as a fan. This is getting worse. And I don't like that. Because when this all started, what did I ask for? The Browns to take control of this situation, knowing that it might be an uncontrollable one. It's an injury. What are you going to do? But I feel like their lack of control on this has contributed to where we're at today. Where are now entering week 8, right? Week 8? Yeah, week 8. Week 8 of the NFL season. You have played 6 games, and Deshaun Watson has only played in 3. And now you are going to be playing 7 games with him only playing in 3. Yes, we are 4-2. Yes, we are, actually still a really damn good spot to try to make the playoffs and push forward. But it's like all of this other stuff that is swirling to not have the answers, to sit here and already, I guess, is that progress that they just ruled him out? Sure, I've got conspiracy theorists, people trying to tell me, yeah, they ruled him out to make a statement. They ruled him out because they didn't want to let him be involved in this anymore. And then it reeks back to the Baker Mayfield stuff and all this other crap that flies around. So we sit here and we just ask the question, what is going on? And then there are people that are bringing up, it's bigger than what we see, or there are bigger issues afoot here. And I don't know any of that or not. There are people I do talk to in the building, and they're kind of in the dark too. They don't even necessarily know what's going on. He's hurt and he can't play. But it's this day-to-day, and then he's going to play and then he's not. It's the yo-yoing that I think people are getting sick of. But the grand question is, and we'll post this at Matt Fontana Show, are you concerned about the Browns' future with Deshaun Watson? Going through all of these shoulder issues that we have, going through this period of time with Deshaun Watson, are you concerned about the Browns' future? I'm not chalking this season up. We can't. We cannot afford to chalk this season up. If you're going to waste the defensive effort that you have gotten from this team, if you are going to waste all of the talent that is on this team to just chalk it and say, well, Watson went down, what do you want us to do? You can't do that. And we've seen it. The Browns have wasted too many seasons of prime football from a lot of their good players. And I hope I don't have to sit here and go through another one this year. But I even think about, the grand scheme. And the future is exactly what you want it to be. The future of this season, the future of 2025, the future of 2027. Deshaun Watson was supposed to be here for 10 years playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. We're off to a horrible start. And maybe that's your solace. Maybe you want to sit there and say, well, yeah, we still got plenty more time. There's still plenty more to go. It's not good. It's not good.
Matt, I don't know why that just made me laugh so hard when you said like the next 10 years because
it was supposed to be.
No, yeah, and it's just been such a tumultuous beginning to that.
It's been a year and a half.
So year
and a half.
That really made me chuckle this morning.
I mean, I guess that is. They pushed their chips in. They pushed all their chips in, right? They thought that this was the move. And it might still be. But right now, it's really hard to see that. Let's get to some Kevin Stefanski sound, because it's just the things that every time he speaks, I'm like, wait a minute, what? What's going on? So first off, let's start with the announcement that Kevin Stefanski made yesterday, sound courtesy of the Browns. Here's his announcement saying that Deshaun Watson will not play. Kevin Stefanski yesterday.
PJ's going to start this week. Deshaun's going to focus on his rehab. I just feel like with what happened in the game, landing on his shoulder, there's residual swelling that's affecting his throwing. I think it's the best thing for him to rest this week and focus on the rehab. And, as I've told you guys, I will always make what I think are the best decisions for our football team, for Deshaun, and I feel like this is the best decision for this week.
I got no problem with that. I don't. If that is truly how it is and that's where you view it, and if it does factor in that you're 4-2 and you have 2 games won that you really didn't think you would, well, good. Take advantage of a situation that you're in. And I will give credit there. That is the Browns taking control. That is, we're not going to wait anymore. We're not going to see how this plays out. And, yeah, there are certainly positives to, P.J. Walker knows he's starting as of yesterday. He can start to gameplay. Kevin Stefanski can start to get ready. And Deshaun Watson can attack rehab going, I'm not going to play on Sunday. That's fine. I'd imagine Ryan's not going to make the trip. Why would he? It's already ruled out. Dorian Thompson-Robinson to be your backup. Let him stay in Cleveland. Who wants to get on a 5-hour plane ride out to Seattle? Not me. I love Seattle. I've never been. So I've had this statement before. It's weird. I love Seattle, yet I've never been there. I feel like I really would like Seattle, but I've never been there. I want to go very badly. One day we'll get there, but I don't. I guess I would. But if he's got a rehab, he's not even going to make the trip. Okay. So next up, the question is, shout out to Tony Grossi. Tony asked, this has now been described with all these doctors that have come out in the baseball analogy. In baseball, this injury is 4 to 6 weeks. Kevin, would you not think about putting him on IR?
You make decisions based on the information that you have every day. You guys have heard me say day to day, and I just think that's based on the player, how he's feeling, the information with the injury, all those things. But you're just trying to make the best decision you can.
So then I want to jump to clip 4 here, Ryan. Jeff Shadell asked, was there a misdiagnosis? Because we have heard day to day for weeks now. Something's got to be up. So the question is, Kevin Stefanski yesterday, sound courtesy of the Browns, was there a misdiagnosis when it came to Deshaun Watson's shoulder?
Every injury, you take in information every single day. So in that way, your day to day, I mean, he's going to focus on rehab this week, but throughout his rehab, you're going to continually find out every single day how he's feeling, how he's progressing through it.
Non-answer. That was a great job. And you could hear him trying to dance around that a little bit to come up with, what did he say? Injuries are a day-to-day. Well, of course they are. Of course they are. But the thing is that of all the smart people at the Browns and all the doctors, wouldn't they have some sort of idea to say, a grade? Like when you sprain something, they tell you, yeah, that's a grade 2 or this. I can almost imagine that this is not the first time that an athlete has suffered, a subscapularis muscle strain. This is not the first time that a doctor has looked at an MRI and seen it and go, okay, well, this is what we're dealing with, to have some sort of idea to say, yeah, this is probably a more weak thing than it is a day thing. And if the Browns were trying to approach it from a level of positivity to try to appease the fans or something, I don't know. Like, did they truly know that this was a week to week and they thought maybe it was going to miraculously heal itself? Or was it truly, we thought he'd be back next week? We thought he'd be back in a week or two, and then here we are today. And then I don't even want to enter all the questions, Ryan, or all where the mind goes again. I don't want to do this. I hate this. Like, is Watson misleading? I don't want to say that. That's wrong. That's wrong. I have no idea. But like, when it's been fumbled this bad, then what the hell is going on? And people will scream, well, you're not entitled to any of that information. You're not privy to any of it. Sure, fine. But you know what it's going to make me do? Look at the Browns and think that they're incompetent. I'm going to look at the Browns and go, whoa, how do you not have a handle on this? Or at least have an idea? Is this something that each week they think he's going to play and then Watson can't? I hear he's a tough guy. I hear it's not pain management. So then what is it? Final question. Is there any further damage, Kevin? Because we were told that there would be no way to further damage this or further this injury at all. Well, I guess that's not true either.
There's no structural damage, Tom, based on the MRI. There is, like I mentioned, residual swelling. But that's why it's just important for him to focus on rehab this week.
So then he can further the injury because obviously the swelling went back up. What? It just stinks, man. It stinks. It's rotten. It's bad. Like, man. And it comes back to our question this morning. This season sure is very important, and I still want the Browns to make the playoffs. You know what? I guess next year, like, if his shoulder ain't fixed by next year, then we got even bigger problems than we even realize. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't want to throw this season away. Like, I'm not ready to throw this season away, Ryan. I'm not ready. We are in a position. You are in a playoff spot. You have a 70% chance to make the playoffs. You win again this weekend, it damn near becomes, well, I don't say impossible, but you are staring down the barrel of a playoff team. And this is maybe the tact of, it's good that he's missing these games now. But what happens if it just pops up again? What happens if he gets hit again? Am I going to have to play every game sitting there saying, well, don't let Deshaun get hit on his right shoulder? And don't for a second make it out to think that defenses don't know that either. You know, I'm not talking about the era of, we all know who's on our station now. But, you know, all of that other kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. But they know. It's football. Your shoulder. How are you going to hide your shoulder? And it just keeps that he can't throw the football, that he has no velocity on his passes anymore. Can I ask a stupid question? Will that come back? I don't know the answer. You ever hear of guys, even in high school, right? Guys that are pitchers, or whatever, they just lose it. They come back and I don't have it anymore. I can't do it. I didn't want to think about that. Oh, my God. If we did all this, Ryan, and then we just find out that, yeah, he'll never be the same again. And I hope not. I certainly hope not. But as this is played out, like, dude, this has just been so frustrating. And I know Browns fans are I would love to just talk about football. I would just love to talk about the Seattle Seahawks this weekend and the challenge that it will be to go there and play. This is not a pushover team. This is a good team that is pushing for a wild card in the NFC. They should have your full attention. I think they do. You're on the road. You're battling other injuries. Jerome Ford's not going to play in this game. Can we, for the love of God, get Amari Cooper a target or two? I want to talk about that. And I guess to that point, Ryan, we can't, because we know Watson is not going to play. We know that he is out. Now, will we turn our attention to what should the Browns do for the quarterback position? Because the other problem is when you can't get a handle on Watson's prognosis, then you can't address it. Because if they would have known, I will tell you this, Ryan, if they'd have known in that Tennessee game or even right in that Baltimore game that he was going to be out for the next month and a half, I would assume that they would have gone and done something at quarterback. I don't know if it's Jacoby Brissett. That keeps coming back up. We talked about that other list of guys available, the Rushes of the world, the Cooper Rush, the Marcus Mariota. I do not want Matt Ryan. I don't want any of them, to be honest with you.
Ryan Tannehill.
No, I had about a heart attack about Ryan Tannehill yesterday. I don't want Ryan Tannehill. I don't want that. But, PJ Walker's done a great job. He's been serviceable. And even if he loses on Sunday, even if it doesn't go well for the Browns, I mean, him in 2-1 in spot mop-up duty, you could do a lot worse than that. But even just operating today, can Andrew Berry truthfully know what is going to happen where if he needs to go make a move? Because this is where I'm at, Ryan. If it is that Deshaun Watson needs anything more than the Seattle game this weekend, you need to go find a quarterback. And you can't guarantee me that. Even if everything looks good, I still have to operate that he's going to miss more games. And now I box myself back into the corner to, even if he plays 2 or 3 games, what if he gets smushed again? What if he gets crunched on that shoulder against the Ravens and you still have games to play? This Sunday might be the telling game for PJ Walker, too. Don't forget, the trade deadline's not till Tuesday. So you could go out there Sunday and truthfully say this is going to be the PJ Walker make or break game. And if he shows what we need to show, then we'll ride with PJ Walker. If not, we got to go trade for someone. And there's issues with making a trade. Don't forget that, too. You know, you go trade for player X. You go get quarterback A, B, and C. You got to bring him in there, get him back in the system. Yeah, I know Brissett would probably ease a little bit of that. But it's not quite as simple as just like, he's in there, he's going to play. Go ahead and go. I'm almost begging the Browns to make a trade, Ryan, just so we can focus on that. So we can talk about that for a little bit. They're in just such... It's just such a bad situation, and I'm frankly sick of it. Like, all I want to do is just talk about a football team that's winning, that is playing well. And I can't. And I hate it. Like, and I know the fans probably feel the same way that I do. We didn't ask for this. Deshaun Watson didn't ask for this. The Browns didn't ask for this. But it's a situation that they have not, I don't think they've handled this well. Like, not knowing the full ins and outs. I know what I see, Ryan. We all know what we see. And it's pretty obvious to me that this has been mishandled. I don't want to say misdiagnosed, but it's just been mishandled. Whether that mishandling is on Watson's side, whether it's on the Browns side, whether it's on the medical staff, I don't know. But it's been mishandled. And I don't know any other way to put it. You've backed yourself into this corner in this situation. Now, you still have football games to be played. That's the other part of this. You still have to find a way to try to get some wins on the way out here to make the playoffs. And yeah, maybe when Deshaun Watson comes back in December, maybe he comes back next week. Who knows? All of a sudden, magic wave of the wand, and after Seattle, he's all good to go. But do you really believe that? Like, after everything that we have seen, the Browns have turned me into a giant skeptic, where I'm just going to be skeptical on every single thing, where maybe I just need... Maybe for my own sanity, for all of us, maybe it's time we just flip. And you know what, Ryan? You call me when Deshaun Watson's ready to go. And I'm done. Okay? I think we might do that. You know what? We got Cavs to talk about. I've got other things about the Browns I want to talk about that we will. You just call me when Deshaun Watson's ready to go. Okay? And that's how I'm going to push forward. That's the only way that I know how to deal with this. Because I'm sick of I'm really tired of it. I am. And I know if it's making me upset and turning me gray, I'm sure it's doing it to Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry and everybody over there. So I'll tell you what. You guys deal with that. You call me, you let me know when Deshaun Watson is ready to go. And I will just focus on this football team. And we'll move forward, and we'll try to win this game on Sunday, and we'll try to win the game after that. We'll talk about some trade scenarios and all that kind of stuff. But maybe it's just time that we sit there and we say, you know what? Just call me when Deshaun Watson's ready. Because I don't know when that's going to be. I don't think the Browns know when that's going to be. And I don't think Deshaun Watson knows. And there's drama and conspiracy theories that people could leak this and they could say that, and the Browns and Watson are on the same page, and there's this rift going on, and they're pissed off one another. That's fine. I don't really care anymore. Like, you know, apathy is a bad thing. Apathy is not a good thing with the sports team. Sometimes you want to love them or you want to hate them. But I'm almost at the point right now where it's just like, there's nothing else for us to do, Ryan. There truly is nothing else for us to do about it. So we will move forward on it. We'll talk about PJ Walker getting the start. There's more trade bait stuff out there, but the gut feeling of if the Browns are going to make a move, we'll discuss that. I got a lot of Cavs that we'll get to. Zach Lowe's NBA tiers, we'll get to that. Myles Garrett joining the Cavs as a part owner. Morning update. We'll get to our bracket, timeout. We got it all. Let's move on from Deshaun Watson for a little bit. Let's just move on. You call me when he's ready to go. You call me when he's cleared and ready to go, and then maybe we'll have a discussion on that on the way out. That's how we're going to operate. Big day coming up here on Big Play, of course. We always got Chico from 12 to 2. Boobies World. Cavs, big win last night to kick the season off. Don't forget, folks, we've got a Cavs-only show with former Cavalier, Boobie Gibson, and then, of course, Rafa. Rafa is the Spanish broadcaster. I heard his call last night. It was fantastic. So they do a podcast, I think, every Thursday, but obviously the Cavs are on the road and Rafa travels and all that kind of stuff. So it's not every Thursday, but it will be tonight. Boobies World right here on Big Play. Of course, Chico 12 to 2 every day. Greg Williams show last night, bonus time with Bruce Drennan. Of course, Hanford Show, Reflog, Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel every Sunday night talking Buckeyes. We got it all for you. Reflog Show, go to Big Play. Follow us on Twitter at Big Play, and you can see everything that we need. We stream live every day on the iHeart app. Download that. Take it with you wherever you need to go. And then, of course, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, streaming across all of that. I feel kind of stupid, which one would be the first nor last time. Ryan, our show streams not only on the Big Play YouTube channel, but our channel at Matt Fontana Show. So I always tell people go subscribe, at Matt Fontana Show. But we also stream on the Big Play channel, and then just on Big Play on Twitter. They retweet all of the shows, all of the show channels. So a lot of different places you can get us, and of course the podcast, Apple and Spotify. It's all there for you. Let's catch a break. We're gonna turn the page here a little bit. You can still vote on our Twitter question. Are you concerned about the Browns' future when it comes to Deshaun Watson? Vote on that. But let's talk PJ Walker. Let's talk some Cavs, and we'll do it next. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, we're back here on the Matt Fontana Show. We're going to talk Browns, but not Deshaun Watson. You call me when he's ready to go. I know P.J. Walker is ready to go, Ryan. Let's talk a little P.J. Walker. So it's announced yesterday he's going to get the start against Seattle. And what I really tried to do, or what I wanted to do, was take a look back on the two games and try to understand where we can improve with P.J. Walker and what we can do to get the win. So the impressive thing is that he is 2-0. And in two games where he had a low-scoring game, okay, fine, and you had that shootout against Indianapolis. Now, can you assume that the Browns defense can do what they did against Indianapolis or even, San Francisco against Seattle? Well, you might need them to, okay? And Seattle's offense is one. All right, let me start with Seattle's offense because this is a P.J. Walker comment here in a second. But what this defense against the Seattle offense, dude, I think they are sneaky good. Like, Kenneth Walker, I think, is very good. It sounds like DK Metcalf's going to be good to play. We know Jackson Smith-Njigba got his first touchdown in the NFL last week. And then all of a sudden, Geno Smith. So I think this is something where on the ranking, on the sliding scale, Seattle's offense is better than Indianapolis in totality, in my opinion. But are they better than San Francisco's? Gut instinct instantly be like, hell no. But you got to remember, McCaffrey was banged up. Debo got banged up in that game, and so did Trent Williams. So I look at what we need to do Sunday to get a win, and I think about, the defense is going to have to give us some semi of the same game that we faced against the last two. They've got good players across the board. Offensive line is a little shaky. Like, that should be where the Browns' defensive line can take advantage of it. The problem is, Ryan, when I look at this defense for Seattle and I try to figure out what can P.J. Walker do. So the biggest stat about P.J. Walker, as we know, he has no touchdowns and 3 interceptions. First off, Sunday, P.J. Walker's going to have to throw a couple of touchdowns. Not just one. I truly believe he has to throw a couple of touchdowns on Sunday. That's number one. Number two, his completion percentage is garbage. It is 50% on the nose, 50% on the season. He is 33 out of 66 in the two games that he has started. That is impossible to win consistently when you have that. It's funny because I say it's impossible to win that way, and he's 2-0 as a starting quarterback while making mistakes, by the way. So what I think the Browns need to do is start with some of those short passes. Get that in the rhythm. His average attempt is only 5.6 yards on average. And by the way, it was identical for the two games at 5.6. So that probably tells you what Kevin Stefanski is trying to do. You don't have Jerome Ford for this game. You do have Kareem Hunt, who I think started to show a little bit of Kareem Hunt of the past. The problem is that he's battling a thigh injury, and he might not be 100% for this game. But as I sit there and I try to understand what I think P.J. Walker can do for this game more, Ryan, this is going to have to be it. The Browns will not be favored in this game. They're not favored in this game. They're on the road. You have got to turn this into a dogfight. And that's a bad pun because the Browns, I know it is. I apologize. What I mean is ball control, clock control, and grind this game out. You need to drag the Seattle Seahawks down to our level. And it's crazy because on paper, we're pretty similar. And when I look at what Seattle is and who they are, defensively, they're actually better at stopping the run than we are. They're a spot better than us. Where they lack a little bit is their pass defense. They're like a fringe top 12 defense in total. They're top 10 rushing, but they're middle to bottom pack when it comes to passing. So you would think that would help. How did they get there? It's really because Devin Witherspoon, their rookie corner, is insane. He is the number 1 ranked PFF corner in the league right now. Here's the thing, Ryan. He's the only thing they got in that secondary. All the rest of those guys in that secondary are not very good. So it'd be easy to sit there and say, you assume Devin Witherspoon will match up with Amari Cooper. Don't throw the ball that way. Get Amari some targets. I know I want him to get some targets, but if you got to lock down and say this is going to be a big David Njoku game, that this is going to be finally a Donovan Peoples-Jones game, or continue with Elijah Moore, you've seen a little more Marquise Goodwin in the last couple of weeks, which has been nice. You have got to short passes, some more of those screens, some more of those jets. Get the ball out of PJ Walker's hands quick. The nice thing about where Seattle is, getting after the quarterback, Maffei's their best pass rusher right now. I don't want to misspeak on this. I want to find sacks here. I looked it up yesterday, and I forgot exactly the number. Stand by. Clicking. Okay. Passing, defense, sacks on the season. You know who leads the NFL in sacks this year, Ryan?
Danielle Hunter.
Well, I'm sorry, team-wise.
Oh, no, Matt, I don't.
Baltimore, 29. Buffalo, Miami, Philly, and the Seattle Seahawks. Playing a less game. They've only played 6, and they have 23 sacks on the year. You have got to get that ball out quick. You have got to be able to distribute it quick and get it out. That should help the completion percentage, certainly when it comes to PJ Walker, but that is the game plan for the win here. You go short, you get it out, and you're going to have to play a little bit different, because with Deshaun Watson, you were trying to stretch the field, and you have guys on the field that you feel like you can stretch it. That's not going to be Sunday. I expect this to be a low-scoring game, because the other thing, when I looked at Seattle, 13, 37, 37, 24, 13, and 20. They can put up points. But they put those 37 points up against the Lions and the Panthers. I'm not saying the Lions got exposed in any way, but the Panthers aren't very good. 24 against the Giants. You take those games out against good teams, which really, if you want to talk about the 6 games that Seattle has played, the Rams, the Lions, the Panthers, the Giants, the Bengals, and the Cardinals. Ryan, I can make the case that they've only played 2 good teams. The Lions and the Bengals. And they lost to the Bengals. And they beat the Lions in week 2. A week 1 and win against the Rams. That Rams team wasn't the same Ram team. They didn't know what they were doing without Cooper Kupp. They couldn't figure it out. They beat up on the Cardinals. They beat up on the Panthers and the Giants. There is something to be said about strength of schedule for this Seattle team. I'm giving them the respect. They're a good football team. But there is something, I think this matchup could be perfect, where this is an offense that you got to worry about, but I don't see them as an explosive offense. They have explosive players. And who knows, this could be the game that DK Metcalf goes off for 200-odd-some yards and 2 touchdowns. Don't forget, he's battling an injury. Kenneth Walker's been a little weird, where he's getting 100-yard games, but he's not getting in the end zone a lot. This seems to be prime for what I think the Browns can do Sunday. Control the clock, control the ball, keep it manageable for PJ Walker. You will have to run the football against a good run defense. You're going to have to do that and find a way. But I flip it over to say, what has been one of the resurgence groups for the Cleveland Browns over the last couple of weeks? The offensive line. Jed Wills getting some flowers. Finally. Shipley on the Pat McAfee show. Shout out Teller and Jed Wills. All right? Come on, Jed.
I told you, Matt, ever since he started hitting that pass block on his dentist, he's been
Dr. Mickley, Beechwood Dental.
He's been league average. That was the key.
We did say we were going to turn into a pro Jed Wills show, right? We said that's all we had to do was just give him a little love and see where we're at. Folks, there's a path to victory here. There always is. But it's I see it. Like, I truly am starting to envision this. The other part of it, Seattle is a very hard place to play. Yeah. It is going out to the West Coast. Now, thankfully, this is a 4 o'clock kick. So these teams, they try to stay on East Coast time when they get out there. I'm not discrediting that. Lumen Field is a very hard place to play. And then also, did you see Seattle going with the throwbacks this weekend? Going with the throwback. There's always a little juice when you add the throwbacks. There's always a little juice when you add throwbacks out there for Seattle. So, and the other thing, I guess that they have some changes on their offensive line. So Pete Carroll said yesterday that Jason Peters 41-year-old Jason Peters could potentially play. He's been on their practice squad. They have Stone Forsythe playing at right tackle. Phil Haynes was their right guard, but he missed last week, didn't practice yesterday. Peters could conceivably be an option at right guard. So I mentioned that offensive line is the weakest part of the offense. Okay, Metcalf, Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. That is a top 5 wide receiver room, or at least should be. Noah Fant, grading out as the 4th best tight end on PFF. I'm a big Kenneth Walker fan, and Geno Smith playing to a high level. The weakness is the offensive line. And especially if they've got to start to change out some guys. Talked about Forsythe, this Anthony Bradford guy at guard. Their offensive line is honestly, Ryan, well, outside of Devin Witherspoon, their defensive backfield's not great. Their two weakest parts are really, I think, the offensive line and any DB not named Devin Witherspoon. Good. If I want to play ball control game clock, having a weak defensive backfield means I can complete some passes, and them having a weak offensive line means my defensive line should be able to make things really hard for Geno Smith. You have got to make this a low-scoring slugfest type of game. I didn't check the weather, Ryan. What's the weather for Seattle on Sunday? Isn't it supposed to rain? Isn't it required to rain?
Let me go find out.
52 and cloudy.
52. Okay.
I'd love a little rain in that game. The over/under is only 38, so that tells you Vegas is kind of where I'm at.
Matt, should I start Seattle's defense this week in fantasy? Or is that like bad mojo?
No, I mean at the end of the day, you have to do what you got to do for fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, I'm trying to pay the bills.
I may or may not have them in one of my leagues too.
Because it's like, yeah, like in theory, you would assume, you know, it's going to be a scrappy, low-scoring game. Maybe a couple.
I'll win a 10-7 game. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, the win is all that matters. And as I just start doing the matchups, and we'll do the Friday report card tomorrow, but I want to just talk about the ways that I think P.J. Walker can get this done. And I think the two things that stand out, the interceptions, which are not always his fault, but, like, I'm sure don't throw it over 10 yards. Like, you got to open it up, I guess. Like, if I'm game planning, if I'm Alex Van Pelt and I'm Kevin Stefanski, you would just got to find a way to keep this manageable. And don't forget, too, P.J. Walker can run. He only has had 3 attempts in the past 2, like 3 and 3 in the last 2 games that he started. Maybe you start to work in some of those RPOs. But then you got that, well, during times, whatever. Like, you just got to find a way to ball control and keep this manageable for the game on Sunday. So we'll remain to be seen on that. Do you want to revisit the Twitter question, Ryan? Because like I kind of said, I'm moving on. I really am wanting to move on from Deshaun Watson. Like, because just call me when he's done. You know, call me when he's ready. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I still have my... Yeah, so the way I look at it is right now, I still got my rose-colored Cavs glasses on for at least 24 hours.
Let's talk some Cavs, shall we? Here we go. Nice win for the Wine and Gold last night. That was a gutsy performance from the Nets team, and I know they were talking about a lot on the broadcast. Like, that Nets team is almost completely different from what they were to start the season last year. That Cam Thomas kid can fill it up, and I thought that's a nice win to start your season, right? It was gritty. It was a little gutty. Dude, Max Strus, what a start to his Cavs career. I was so happy just to see the threat of the 3 for the Wine and Gold last night. So 114, 113. Strus with 27 to lead the Cavs. But I was so happy, Ryan. As a team, they shot 40% from behind the arc. If you can do that consistently, that is exactly what you need. I thought there'd be a little more from Evan Mobley. He got you the even 10. 27 each for Donovan and Strus. Dude, there were some threes that Donovan hit. You don't win that game without Donovan Mitchell. And I thought Darius Garland looked a little off. You know, he was battling the hamstring. He was able to play. What a win for the Cavs. But I liked what I saw just from a floor spacing standpoint, from Strus able to hit the 3. And now you've at least given the threat that the Cavs are a team that can hit the 3. It's win number 1. We're off to the races. I love watching Cavs basketball. I'm happy that it's back. I now turn over to Zach Lowe, ESPN, and his tiers, his NBA ranking tiers to start the season. So it's his 14th annual tiers of the NBA. And this is his alternative to preseason power rankings. And he says the rankings within the tier doesn't matter. It's just what tier is your team in. So we start at the top. And he calls this the inner circle. These are the 4 best teams in basketball. The Denver Nuggets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, and the Phoenix Suns. I think pretty fair on that, right? I don't think anybody would have a complaint on those 4 for the inner circle. You got the MVP favorites up and down on most of those teams. Fair enough. Group number 2, the second sanctum, as he put it, the Lakers and the Warriors. And he writes, both these teams have the good to win 4 playoff series and win the title. Their path to a top 6 seed and play-in avoidance is more fraught than the inner circle, maybe even some lesser tiers. The Lakers' main obstacle is pretty simple. LeBron is almost 40 and gets hurt every season. Fair enough. Sometime around game 20, LeBron will pass Kareem for number 1 all-time minutes played in NBA history. And Zach writes, if the eventual champion is not one of these 6 teams, it would be a big surprise. So he's saying between the Bucks, the Celtics, the Phoenix Suns, and then the Denver Nuggets, and then you add the Lakers and Warriors, Zach Lowe feels like the NBA champion is one of those 6 teams. Sure. And that's why I divided out to say these 4 are on their own. Then you add the Lakers and the Warriors. It's not just Cavs bias here. I hate the Warriors. I don't buy the Warriors. Every year, even the year they won the title, I was like, really? I just don't buy the Warriors. So that's the second group here from Zach Lowe. The other West version top 6 shots, the Timberwolves and the Kings. Fair enough. I started this by saying, Ryan, that I think that there's a proclamation, if you will. There's searching for the word here. There's a Zach Lowe's going to give the Cavs something on a positive note that I think is pretty cool. And that is they're in their own tier. He puts them in their very own tier. And this is where Zach Lowe puts the Cavs. They're a stone cold top 6 lock in the East, but that's it. And he says the Cavs are in a tier of their own because they might run into playoff issues again. And he says the playoffs are hard, but it would take a pretty catastrophic injury luck or something else going very, very wrong for this team to fall out of the top 6. They're young with enough all-star level talent to withstand injuries. Loading up on shooting around Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Allen was the right call. This team should win 50-ish games and enter as the favorite to snag the East's number 3 seed behind Boston and Milwaukee. So on the tier list here from Zach Lowe, he feels like the Cavs are a bit of a unicorn. They're in their own tier. They're the only team in the league that's in their own tier. They are just there. And I agree with him. Top 6 lock, no question. Really should be staring down the barrel of that top 3 seed there. He said for the East, other teams at a top 6 shot. The Knicks, the Heat, the 76ers, and the Hawks. And he writes, if the East falls indeed to Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland as the top 3, then these 4 are fighting for the final 3 locked-in playoff spots. Knicks, Heat, 76ers, and Hawks. Do you want to know my common denominator for all those teams, Ryan, or my common thread for all those teams? I don't think they're very good. Philly's got all these problems with James Harden. Okay. I do like Nick Nurse. I think that was a nice hire there. I'm not buying the Hawks. I'll continue to not buy the Hawks, and I think Trae Young's going to find his way out of there sooner rather than later. I think Miami's going to have this giant hangover from not getting Dame Lillard and the impact that might have. And I saw the Knicks. I think the Knicks are beatable. And I think the Cavs, if you play that series out again, should beat them. So I agree with Zach Lowe's rankings here. You have 2 teams that are absolute studs in the East. You've got the Cavs in kind of their own little bracket right here. And then you got these 4 other teams. If anything, it makes me feel that much better that my expectations for the Cavs really are, they got to be the 3 seed. Those are the expectations that I have. And I won't read too much into an opening night against the Nets, okay? You had to figure some things out. It was nice to see Max Strus get in there and mix it up a little bit. You know the other thing I want to talk about? That new technical flopping call. because they got one last night on the Cavs. Now it's league-wide. I love it. I absolutely love it. Flopping, LeBron seems to be the brunt of the jokes a lot of the times when it comes to the flopping. It became a real problem, and I'm glad they addressed it. And yeah, the Cavs was Garland, right? Garland got called on that, I think. I didn't see it because the camera angle was weird, like they tried to pan to it quick. I'm all for it. I really am. And there will be a point that I hope the NBA officials realize, don't call it in the last 2 minutes. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, there's a flop, call it. First half, call it. And that, I think, will start to get to the players eventually, like they're going to be on this. But watching last night, and again, the Cavs won, so I think it's different. If they had a loss, maybe I'd have felt a little differently. But I love that. I love that new technical, Ryan, about the flopping. I really do think it's actually going to help and change things a little bit in the NBA.
Maybe that's why James Harden's sitting out. He's a little bit worried about that. No, but fantastic opening night.
Yeah, it was great for the Cavs. Like, it was awesome for them. The rest of the tiers here for Zach Lowe. Play-in combatants, Nets, Raptors, Bulls, Pacers, Magic in the East. In the West, Thunder, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Clippers. Can you believe the Clippers are where they're at? Can you believe how far down the Clippers have fallen? They still have Kawhi Leonard. They still have Paul George. But, the hell are they going to do?
Kawhi Leonard is such a fascinating player. He was easily a top 3 player that year they won the championship in Toronto. And then he goes to Los Angeles. And obviously he's had some bad injury luck. Not his fault. And he's a fantastic player, but it just seems like a player that just midway through the season, just always kind of gets forgotten about and just falls down.
Well, when they don't play, and that's what happens. He writes a lot about the Grizzlies because we know John Morant's suspended 25 games, so he'll be out. They're missing Steven Adams. They traded for Marcus Smart. Oh, yeah, Zion last night. Forgot about him, too. Speaking of guy that's always hurt. That's one. His best days will not be in New Orleans. He's on his way. You want a bold prediction before the season? There's going to be a Trae Young, Zion Williamson. There's going to be some sort of big trade like that. There's going to be these teams that realize we're wasting time with this guy. Might as well get a haul, make a trade, and move on to some other teams. We'll see. Bottom tier. Wizards, Pistons, Trailblazers, Jazz, Rockets, Spurs, and the Charlotte Hornets are just all the bottom feeder teams in the NBA. So I thought that was pretty cool from Zach Lowe, that he put the Cavs in their very own little tier, because I think they are. They are the third best team in the East. There's really a gap between them and 1 and 2, and there's a gap between them and 4 and 5. They are truly the third best team in the East. That's what I ask for. That's what I hope for. And that's what I frankly think will happen with the Cavs. Congratulations goes out to Myles Garrett. He announcing that he is a minority owner now for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And a lot of people are reading into it the right way. That tells you Myles loves his town. But I just, in this era where these, professional athletes are thinking about the bigger picture. They're thinking about what are they doing with their money and investing and stuff like that. The fact that he chose to do it here, I think is great. You see it Patrick Mahomes is bought in some teams in KC and, I love seeing that. I don't know why. I think it's pretty cool. He'll be a brand ambassador. I know a lot of people had the fun with the he can't play basketball anymore. Kevin Stefanski told him no more basketball, so the best he could do is become a minority owner for the Cavs. That was pretty cool. So shout out to him, and I think that's a great little blend there for the Cavs too, with a guy like Myles Garrett being an NBA owner now. I think that's pretty cool for him to say. He can walk around today saying, hey, I'm going to be a future defensive player of the year in the NFL and minority owner in the Cavaliers. That's pretty cool as well.
Matt, look at this photo. Look at this dude's arms.
Myles.
It's no surprise he's a giant, but good God.
Could you imagine him posting you up?
No.
He's a football player and it works, but that's one of those guys, he probably could have played basketball too. He's that good of an athlete.
Forearm. It's, oh my goodness.
He's mad. He's jacked, man. He's jacked. And it was funny going back to the Colts game when he jumped over the line. What did he post videos of all off season? Him doing box jumps. Yeah. Everybody goes, there it goes. All right. Myles is literally one of the freakiest athletes I think to ever walk the face of this earth. He's so good, man. So, and now the Cavs announced that they're getting some 95 jerseys out there. They got some special edition Myles Garrett jerseys out there for you to get signed up with and pre-order there. All right, let's catch the morning update when we return. There's still some more of this Michigan stuff that is, happening. there's now thought processes that Michigan might not get as big of a penalty as some people thought. So we'll discuss some of that coming up. We'll get to Time Hop. We got our bracket as well. We'll dive back into some Browns as well. We've kind of shut down the Deshaun Watson this morning. Like, it's call me when he's ready. Call me when we've moved past this and when we're ready to play some football. I think I laid out the game plan for the Browns to win on Sunday. I think they have a good shot to cover, maybe even win that game. We'll see how that goes tomorrow, but we'll place our bets with Tipico. Do this, folks. If you're not signed up yet for Tipico, go download the app, use the code BIGPLAY150. We will get to our Thursday night bets, but also we do have NBA games every night. So if there's a game that we really like, we'll get you some matchups on that. We know the World Series starting this weekend. Get signed up with Tipico. They are the sports book for us here at Big Play, and I love using them. Our Big Play boost got close, did it not? Because our Big Play boost last night was 10 points for Max Strus. Done. A Cavs win. Damn it. 30 for Donovan Mitchell. He got 27. We are so close to our boost on Tipico. So we have our Big Play boost, and we're going to start doing some here on the show. We need to do more of these, Ryan. Where you can go on the app, use the code BIGPLAY150, and it just gives you the boost for the game. Like, let me see what we got here rolling for Thursday Night Football. And we're going to do our picks for tonight. I really like a pick for tonight. Buffalo, Tampa. There's a bet I really like for Tipico. So you download the app. Sorry, I need the face ID thing right here. Jackets. Canadians tonight. There's a boost on that. Boost tonight. Bills to score the first and last. The Bills to score the first touchdown, and at any time, Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown. Plus 220. Oh, I kind of like this one. This is our Big Play boost. Bills to win by 10 and Baker Mayfield under 230 passing yards. That is plus 300. Get on there, get your anytime score, get your alternate point total, alternate spread, Baker passing yards, Josh Allen passing yards. It's all for you. Tipico. Download the app. Use that code BIGPLAY150 when you sign up. Deposit 50. Get that 150 in bonus bets plus that $30 future dog pound bet. It is all in there on the Tipico app. I love it. It is super easy to use. You're going to love it too. That is our friends at Tipico. Terms and conditions apply. Read it all at Tipico. Must be 21 or older. Let's get to the morning update. All the stories you got to know. We'll get to it next right here. Matt Fontana Show. Big Play. Streaming live. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And as always, on the iHeart app. Back right after this. All right, here we go on a Thursday edition of the Morning Update. Welcome back. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Streaming everywhere you need us. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Big Play, Matt Fontana Show, iHeart app. Wherever you need us, we got you. Same thing with Big Play. Whenever you need us, wherever you want us, replays of the show. It's all up. Ryan, take it away with the Morning Updates.
Alrighty, we got our first look in real time of Victor Wembanyama, the Unicorn. He had a decent day. He scored 15 points in his first NBA game of his career, 6 for 9 on shooting. He also got 5 boards and 2 assists, 2 steals as well.
I mean, here's the thing. This season, the Spurs probably aren't going to be very good. And I think Greg Popovich, he's had star players before. Like, how do you balance that of saying, like, yeah, you want to play and we need to it's all about the future development, right? The wins are not important right now. So everybody's going to watch these games and just watch Wembanyama. The other part of it is the fanfare. He is the biggest prospect since LeBron. And he's a different player body type. Like it doesn't get thrown around that much as a generational talent. That's a lot of pressure on him. What is he, 20, 19 years old? But it's fun to watch. And what I just don't want to have happen is, A, an injury, but also B, like the pressure. But I don't know, Ryan, just from a 10,000-foot view, it seems like he handles it pretty well. It seems like he's got a good team around him to kind of handle all this pressure. So didn't watch too much of it. I saw some highlights. He's going to be a star, man. Hopefully he is.
Yeah, is he your lock for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, it would take something pretty big for him not to win.
I actually think, though, there's actually a decently realistic chance, though, Chet gets it over him. Like, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but yeah. I think it's very possible.
I mean, here's the thing. Chet's probably going to put up, would he put up better numbers? He's going to be on a better team. Not a lot better, but the Thunder will be better.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Alrighty, well, Kristaps Porzingis. How about him on the Celtics? 30 points, 8 boards, and 4 blocked shots. And he set a franchise record for the Celtics for most points in a debut, surpassing Dominique Wilkins' 25 in 1994.
I mean, I think the Celtics were already going to be a good team, and then if you could get a resurgence out of Porzingis and turn him into a good player, then you got something to help with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But make no mistake, it's those two guys. They're the ones that are gonna stir the pot there.
Yeah, Matt, who would you rather meet in the playoffs, like right now? Obviously, I'm sure it's subject to changes. We haven't really seen the team play that many games, but Bucks or Celtics? Who are you more scared of?
I would rather play the Celtics. I would rather play the Celtics.
Okay.
I think we have something for them. We beat them in the regular season from time to time. I think the Bucks are really scary. I think they're really good, so I'd rather play the Celtics.
Already, well, in the baseball world, longtime manager, 26-year career, Dusty Baker is going to retire.
Good for him. I mean, you saw a lot of people discuss that when it came to, the ALCS of Bruce Bochy versus Dusty Baker, going young versus old. He's the best. I mean, he had to right that situation after everything that happened in Houston. And that's the thing. Dusty's like pretty much universally loved, so he was probably the right guy to go get that done. And he ends his career kind of on a semi-high note. Just, went to 2 World Series, won 1, and got to the ALCS. Pretty good job by him. Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Alrighty, well, the Bengals might be getting a little bit of a break in their matchup against the 49ers. Brock Purdy popped up on the injury report with he's currently in the concussion protocol. Kyle Shanahan said he started getting symptoms on the plane. And it was on that quarterback sneak, Matt, that he got a little helmet-to-helmet.
And I tweeted that's why it's right for the Browns to use Harrison Bryant in those sneaks, because to keep the illusion that they're going to throw it? No, you know what they're doing, and it could be a handoff to the running back and go to one side. I like having Harrison Bryant in there, but yeah, I mean, of course, some luck here for the Bengals, but I mean, I guess we got some luck against the 49ers too, but it just so happens to be that every break is going the Bengals' way to try to turn this thing around.
Alrighty, well, Mel Tucker saga, I guess it might technically be over now, but he is officially fired by Michigan State. A hearing officer at Michigan State determined Wednesday that former football coach Mel Tucker violated the school's sexual misconduct policy during his interactions with Brenda Tracy, a sexual assault prevention speaker.
They just were doing all that for the money. And then now that they have it done, they fired him with cause, and he'll move on. Well, I'll move on from it.
Alrighty, well, I want to talk a little bit about Isaac Okoro. Fantastic start to his season, and we talked yesterday about how he didn't get that extension at the deadline. But he's betting on himself this year and off to a good start.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Okoro. He had a couple nice dunks. I mean, he had that one bad foul setting that screen. But Okoro, I want him on this team for the right price, for the right extension. I want him on this team. I think he serves a great role. He's a good defender. If he can start hitting the three a little more consistent, you might really have something there with Isaac Okoro, just as that rotational player. So I like it. I hope he stays, get that extension done, but it's got to be at the right value for sure.
Yeah. You know what, Matt? I'm going to save this. That's going to be it for the morning update because I'm sure you're going to get into this with the Michigan thing. I was going to put it in there, but we'll save it.
Yeah, so let's start. We'll get back into the couple other things with the Browns. We'll dive into some Cavs a little bit later. But this came out this morning from Adam Rittenberg. It's confirmed that the Big Ten can initiate its own investigation into Michigan under their sportsmanship policy. If it deems necessary, Commissioner Tony Petitti has the authority to initiate a probe to determine whether an offensive action has occurred. Now, here's the news. That has not happened yet. So the Big Ten has not launched this probe yet. Under the Big Ten sportsmanship policy, any school under investigation would have the right to defend itself and outline its position, but disciplinary actions from the league are final and not subject to appeal. The Big Ten will not do that this season. They might they'll investigate at some point. And I'm not saying that they won't investigate at some point, but I would have to believe that they don't want to ruin any chance of Michigan getting to the Big Ten champion. Or, they don't want to ruin the Ohio State-Michigan game, the potential Big Ten championship game, and Michigan potentially making the playoffs. You want to know why? Money! The Big Ten gets a lot of money when their teams go to the college football playoff. So they will not sanction anything during the season. They might start the investigation, but even then, I would imagine that they probably don't want to, because then that's going to take away from everything that's going on. They'll gather information. The other part, does this fall under the NCAA or the Big Ten to do something? And that's been a long-standing issue, in my opinion, in college football, where they sit there and they stare at one another. Well, are you going to do something? Well, I thought you were going to do something. Are you going to do something? Well, I thought you were going to do something. And they go back and forth. That's a great question. Whose job is it to discipline Michigan in this scenario? Now, the other thing that I think is interesting is kind of been this turn from some people that they think that Michigan won't be handed down some of the penalties that we all assume. I've talked about how I think vacating wins is stupid. Okay, I've always thought that. But why? Okay, do you vacate the wins? Then you talk about moving forward. You fine them, scholarships, Harbaugh, I don't know, right? But all of that, the true impact is the future, right? So they're not going to do it right now. I don't think they're going to wait to the offseason, and then they'll go back and vacate wins, and then they'll talk about what they're going to do next season. They're not going to do anything to Michigan right now. As much as you, me, and everybody wants that to happen, that's just not how it's going to go. Then you get to this investigation part of it. This is going to take a lot of time. To interview people and, gather information, because it's going to be like a legal process. It's going to be lawyers, and they're going to get involved in this, and Michigan's going to have lawyers, and the Big Ten's going to have lawyers, and the NCAA will have lawyers, and they'll all go back and forth, because it's never going to be as simple as Michigan coming out and going, yeah, we did it, and this is exactly how we did. We'll take our penalties and move on. That's not happening, So it's going to take probably this season, and we're already past midpoint of the college season. So I don't expect anything, Ryan, to happen right now. And they'll move forward. They'll let it play out. And then what do they do? Oh, go back. Well, that win doesn't count anymore. It's bullcrap. It's utter bullcrap. Now, the question is, and I read some things this morning, that there's reports coming out that Michigan's sign stealing was actually also to help other teams keep somebody out of the play. This could go further than we all expect. I don't know if it will or won't, but I think it's pretty intriguing and pretty interesting to see, and exactly where the NCAA wants to take this. Let me ask you, Ryan, do you think that it's the NCAA or do you think it's the Big Ten that'll come down with all these sanctions?
I think the Big Ten. I think, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I mean, here's my thing. It seems like this was Big Ten on Big Ten. Like,
yeah.
It seems like they did this against more Big Ten teams than not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think it should be the Big Ten, if anything. But
yeah, but do you trust that? I don't trust either one of them, to be honest with you, to get it done.
No. I mean, yeah.
Like, I don't trust either one to get it done, but we'll see. All right, let's catch a break. When we come back, I want to dive back into the Browns. We'll revisit our question on Deshaun Watson. We'll see some of the other things out there as we gear up for Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks, and a couple of interesting articles on ESPN surrounding the Browns. We'll get to all that coming up. Stay with us. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, the trade deadline in the NFL is not quite the trade deadline as some other leagues. But I think it's trying to get there, Ryan, because we got a lot of hype and a lot of surrounding things. And I about fell out of my chair talking about Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry yesterday. But wait, there's more. All across ESPN, NFL.com, more trades to be had. Now, here's the thing. It's not all necessarily related to the Browns because it's not that they're trading for players. But some of these, they impact the Browns. Because one of them I saw this morning, Ryan. Saquon Barkley to the Ravens. That is one that I hope does not happen. Now, Brian Dable reportedly told Saquon Barkley this week as a man-to-man conversation that he was not getting traded. It remains to be seen. I'll keep my eye on that. But that was one that I saw pop up. Then I saw a couple other, could the Ravens do this? Could they trade for Danielle Hunter? couple other things. So it's like as we get closer to the trade deadline, it's not even so much about what the Browns do or don't do, but it's what some of the other teams do. There's TradeNFL.com. Justin Houston going from Carolina back to Baltimore. Keep an eye out because I think the Baltimore Ravens might be a really active team.
Yeah.
Then I go to one of my favorite articles of the week. Stan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler. And each week they just run through questions about surrounding the NFL. A lot of times they have Browns ones here and there. But they go down to some of the names that they've heard in trade deadline deals going around. The ones that Jeremy Fowler has heard the most. Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, Terrence Marshall Jr. as wide receivers. Carl Lawson and Dalvin Cook could be on their way out of New York as well. You know, we already know some of the moves that have been made with Kevin Byard. Jeremy Chin is now hurt as a safety. He was potentially on the move there. So those are some of the names that have been brought up. Then the question comes to both Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler. What team has to make a move before the NFL trade deadline come Tuesday? Graziano says, I think it's the Chiefs. So they signed Mecole Hardman, or they traded for Mecole Hardman back. But he brought up Devontae Adams. That would be a scary addition there to the Chiefs. Jeremy Fowler, he definitely says the Chiefs, but he will go with Seattle as another team. And then the Cleveland Browns. Dan Graziano writes, what do you think about the chances of Baltimore adding a running back? We mentioned Derrick Henry earlier. If he's available, how scary would that be with an offense around Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? If not, the Ravens could be a smart landing spot for Dalvin Cook. He agrees with me. Graziano saying, I don't think that they're going to trade Saquon Barkley out of New York. But he writes, the Browns are also at a point where it feels like they could stand to add a running back. Fowler, I agree. Though the Browns wouldn't relinquish significant capital in this position, it would have to be a late round deal. Cleveland wouldn't have traded for Jonathan Taylor, for example. But I like the idea of the 8 Ravens adding a back to replenish injury, and the same thing could be said for the Browns. Philadelphia's rotation is one to watch. Would you trade for Rashad Penny or Boston Scott today if you were the Cleveland Browns? Those guys ring a bell for you at all? Like, do anything for you?
I remember
Rashad Penny was in Seattle for a long time. Then he went there. Boston Scott's always been there. That's DeAndre Swift thing. But I'm saying, I just thought it was interesting that they brought the Browns up and that kind of move. You know, we're in this mindset right now with the Browns on a potential trade of Jacoby Brissett or, again, I don't want Tannehill. I don't want, Derrick Henry. But these names keep getting thrown around. Maybe that's the type of move. A 6th-round pick for a Rashad Penny. Or a Boston Scott, something like that. That is something that I think, Ryan, is where we need to maybe more calibrate ourselves. Because the question is, and it kind of goes back to what we're trying to do Sunday. You're not getting a quarterback for Sunday. You know P.J. Walker's going to start. And I have this sneaky, I have this little inkling that Sunday is going to be a very pivotal game for the Cleveland Browns on what exactly they are going to do. Because you're going to go into this game with P.J. Walker. And P.J. Walker's played a couple of games. We broke this down a little bit earlier. I think the recipe for success, short passes, you got to get that completion percentage up, all that kind of stuff. So you go in with P.J. Walker, knowing that he is going to be your starting quarterback, and knowing that you have a couple of games of sample size. But you're also going into it without Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt a little banged up. My whole point is, you will have a blueprint picture idea of what the Browns are going to look like. And that will tell you whether or not you need to make a trade. I think in a way, when we're searching for positivity here, this actually lays out to be perfect for the Browns 2 days before the trade deadline. Now, me, and everybody knows Andrew Berry's having conversations. There might even be trade framework worked out. You're going to play the game Sunday. You will finish that game Sunday. Late, 7, 8 o'clock. And we'll all sit there saying, we can't get this done anymore. Whether it's the running back or the quarterback. Those are the 2 positions I think most people are going to have their eyes on. And the Browns will have that same idea because there's no more excuses. You will know after Sunday if you think you can get through this with P.J. Walker. Now, again, you're on the show. We have pushed Deshaun Watson aside. And I've said, you call me when he's ready to go. That's why I don't think quarterback, if you had a better idea of what Watson's injury was, you'd make a move. I think, you know what, maybe there's something to be there. Maybe the Browns know that this is truly a week-to-week thing and he'll be back, and that's why they haven't traded for a quarterback. Maybe that's it.
Matt, if the Browns in a theoretical world, like breaking news, like if it happened right now, right, we trade for Jacoby Brissett.
Then that would tell me that there might be a world Watson doesn't play for a month.
But, right, and but in a more short-term outlook on it, do you think if they traded for him today, right, so his first practice would be tomorrow likely, would you play him over PJ Walker?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would. I mean, again, if you're going to make that move, you almost have to.
Yeah.
Because you made the move, so you got to go. Yeah, there's some level of he knows the offense. It wouldn't take that long for him to get reacclimated, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're going to move for him, you got to play him. You have to.
Okay, so let's say I just picking a name out of a basket, right? Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah, he ain't playing.
Right. So it's okay. So it's Brissett because that makes sense.
I mean, that's and at this point, if you traded for him this afternoon, I still don't think he's going to play.
Yeah.
My thing is that's where Sunday will probably tell you the direction the Browns are going to go with their acquisition. Now, obviously, it's because the trade deadline's Tuesday. I get that. But what I'm saying is, if you go out there Sunday and PJ Walker looks lost and Kareem Hunt gets hurt, you're making a trade on Tuesday or on Monday. You know what I mean? Like, you go out there, Kareem Hunt looks like the Kareem Hunt of old. PJ Walker throws a touchdown, interception. He's kind of fine. You're not making a trade. You know what I mean? Like, this is your last opportunity to prove it. The thing that the thing I truly want, and it's maybe even more important than Walker, even though it's not because it's a quarterback, is Kareem Hunt. Like, what I really want to see Sunday is Kareem Hunt look like the Kareem Hunt of old. I've seen snippets of it. I've seen spurts of it. But if he can be a stabilizing force, that changes the whole ball game, in my opinion. And yeah, Jerome Ford, again, believing that it's a 1 to 2 week injury, like if you had to believe what they've said about Deshaun Watson. I think Kareem Hunt is a bigger key to this whole thing than any of us are saying. Because if you can have a healthy Kareem, that's like trading for a Boston Scott. That's like trading for a Rashad Penny. And especially if you can get Jerome Ford back in a couple of weeks, then you're good. Every other position you're fine at. There is literally not another position. I know we talked to Jack Duffin this week on the OBR, and he mentioned D-line. You're still fine there. You're fine at linebacker. You know, there's questions at linebacker. I want to know what the hell's going on with JOK. But you don't need to trade for anything else. So the Browns can really, truly focus in on running back and quarterback. That's it. People have had some scuttlebutt about the wide receiver. Let me throw to my freaking wide receivers first before I start adding anymore. You don't need to add anymore. You have good wide receivers. We need to get them the football. Sunday will tell the story whether you need a quarterback or a running back. And I those are the only two positions that I see, Ryan. Am I missing anything? Tell me if you see something else. I think that's it. Those are the only two positions.
Yeah, no, they are.
So you get a good game out of Kareem Hunt. You get a serviceable game from PJ Walker. And even if you lose, that's fine. Don't go make any moves. And the final piece to all of this, you don't have a lot of pieces to move. You don't have a lot of surplus of draft picks that you can go. The surplus that you have is money and salary cap. And you don't want to eat up all of that because, again, you got to use some of it for the Deshaun Watson contract. And I'm not saying use it to get out of it, but that might be a world too. So Sunday's going to be pivotal from that standpoint. Gut feeling right now today, do you think the Browns make a move? Before the trade deadline on Tuesday. Not playing the game yet and knowing where we're at with Watson and everything on offense, do you think the Browns are going to make a move Sunday? Or, before Tuesday, excuse me.
I would say, I think it's more.
You also then need to project how the game goes, right? Like, that's the thing. We're projecting how we think Sunday is going to go. But do you think the Browns are going to make a move before Tuesday's trade deadline?
I don't. I would say I could see them more likely bringing in a running back than a quarterback. Honestly, if it's not Brissett,
Did they make a move?
Whether that's a playoff or Lombardi Lenny. I love that Jack Duffin mentioned that because I remember before he got Kareem Hunt, I was kind of pounding the table for Lombardi Lenny.
I'm going to say they do not make a move. I'm going to say they don't make a move. I think you can piecemeal it with Kareem Hunt, get Jerome Ford back, and you know that all of your eggs are in the basket of Deshaun Watson getting healthy. So there's almost like no reason to try to, waste picks. Everything comes back to Deshaun Watson having to play. PJ Walker's done a good job. And if you truly, really needed to, I think you could go back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So I'm going to say right now, my gut feeling, I don't think the Browns make a move for anything before the trade deadline on Tuesday. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. All right, when we come back, we're going to jump into Time Hop. We'll tell you what happened this day in history on the 26th of October. We've still got some more Cavs to get to as well. And our bracket, our big play bracket of the week, your favorite Halloween character. Those are up at Matt Fontana's show. Vote on those. We'll reveal the finals later, and our bets with Tipico for Thursday Night Football and a little bit of basketball tonight. We got that all for you. Locked and loaded right here. Matt Fontana Show on Big Play. All right, we are slammed with Time Hop today. We got a lot of things on the 26th of October. Let's get to it, including 3 years ago today. We did it in the Browns game yesterday, but today, 3 years ago, to confirm torn ACL for Odell Beckham, which really started a lot of the problems. Well, actually, really that ended a lot of the problems with him here. It was 2020 already. For Odell Beckham, unfortunately lost for the season. This day, 2019, number 3, Ohio State takes down number 13, Wisconsin. Justin Fields, 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. J.K. Dobbins had 2 touchdown scores in that game. Remember when Wisconsin was good? Been a little while.
Jonathan Taylor.
Been a little while. Oh, man. Talk about before there was Swift and Kelsey, there was Chloe and Tristan. Because this day, 2018, a TMZ report that Chloe and Tristan were close to breaking up.
They're still together, no? Or
I don't know. Like, it's all for the TV show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch that show, but my wife does. And so you'd like see Tristan on there, and obviously they have a little girl together. It is all literally fabricated by that mom. Every single thing that they do, every single thing that gets leaked. Probably the first video there with Kim was leaked because of the mom. Whatever. But the drama, they've made billions of dollars off of drama, being a socialite. Must be nice. And I'm sure, here's the thing, I'm sure Tristan made a lot of money off of it. I know Kelsey's making a lot of money off this Taylor Swift stuff. Money to be made. Close to breaking up, then they'll get back together and break up again. Who knows? This day, 2016, Game 2 of the World Series. Cubs beat the Indians 5-1. Jake Bauer. Wow, what a throwback that is. Trevor Bauer, 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits and 2 runs. Jake Arrieta had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning. I remember that. This day, 2016. This day, 2014, the Browns beat the Raiders 23-13. Billy Cundiff had 3 field goals. Andrew Hawkins had a touchdown. Ben Tate with a rushing touchdown. The Browns improved to a spicy 4-3 under Mike Pettin. The Raiders fell to 0-7. Who was the head coach for the Raiders that year? 2014 Raiders.
Del Rio, maybe?
Was it Jack Del Rio or was it Dennis Allen? Dennis Allen. Okay. He was actually fired after the 0-4 start, and Tony Sperano took over and went 3-9 in the interim. So again, hang on, what's the schedule? So we beat them. They fell to 0-7. They didn't win their first game until November 20th. They were 1-10 when they somehow beat Kansas City back then in 2014. So they sucked. This day, 2013, number 4, Ohio State beat Penn State 63-14. Braxton Miller had 5 touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing, and Carlos Hyde had a couple of touchdowns on the ground. This day, 1997, the Indians lost World Series Game 7 to the Marlins. Edgar Renteria, Jose Mesa, bottom of the 11th. Marlins get the win, 3-2. Sad day, of course. This day, 1993, the NFL announced their expansion team to Charlotte would be the Panthers. You know the Panthers are tied to the Browns expansion, right? Because when the Panthers and the Jags both got announced as expansion teams and the expansion draft happened, and then just a couple of years later, those teams were in the conference championships and fighting for a Super Bowl, and one of those teams and the Panthers went to the Super Bowl. The Browns came back in 1999. The rest of the NFL said, whoa, wait a minute here. We saw what we did to help out these teams that started out, and they were too good too fast. We'll screw the Browns over. We'll change how we approach the expansion draft. And the Browns got off to a really bad start. Now, granted, the Browns were in the playoffs a couple of years in, and they competed, but the success that the Panthers and the Jags had when they first started really hurt the Browns. Because the rest of the league goes, that ain't fair. And granted, I guess you would feel the same now. If you're a team that's in the league and then all of a sudden, hey, we're going to put a team in London and we're going to stack them with everything, and then all of a sudden they're in the championship in a couple of years, you'd be like, what the hell's going on? NHL kind of did that with the Vegas Knights. And nobody's pissed because the NHL just needs, frankly, anything to go for them right now. But I can understand why the Browns kind of got screwed the way they did. This day, 1984, Michael Jordan made his NBA debut. He had 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists as the Bulls beat the Bullets 109-93. This day, 1984. I got a couple video game things for you, so we'll get to that coming up. This day, 1974, the Richfield Coliseum opened. Who was the first act? It was not a basketball game. It was a musical act. Your trivia question of the day, Ryan. Who was the opening act at the Richfield Coliseum when it debuted this day, 1974?
Does this person have a tie to Cleveland or no?
Not really, but they're super famous.
1974?
74. They're no longer with us.
Oh.
They're one of the most famous musical acts in history. It's one person, by the way. One person.
Just don't know how to get Prince.
No, too early for Prince.
Okay.
Way too early for Prince. 74.
74, no longer with us, one of the greatest. Wow.
There's something to be said about if you shook this gentleman's hand. If you've seen Ocean's 11.
I have seen Ocean's 11, but
Or actually probably more Ocean's 13.
I don't know, Matt.
You shook Sinatra's hand. Frank Sinatra
wow.
was the very first act ever at the Richfield Coliseum this day, 1974. How about the shootout at the OK Corral? Happened this day, 1881. The Earp brothers and Doc Holliday faced off against the Clanton McClory gang in Tombstone, Arizona. What a great fight.
Holiday. Wow.
Did you know that's where Roy Halladay got his nickname from?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I called him Doc. All right, Peter Roy Halladay, by the way. But, yeah, the shootout at the OK Corral this day, 1881. This day, 1825, after 7 years of construction, the Lake Erie Canal opened to connect the Great Lakes to New York via the Hudson River. Where would we be without it? Very happy birthday goes out to Indians manager Mike Hargrove. I'm sure that wasn't a happy birthday for him in 1997. Bob Golick, Dave Zastadil. Zasty's the man. Sean LaValle, Dickie V, Pat Sajak, Seth MacFarlane, Keith Urban, and CM Punk.
That's a stacked birthday
Pretty
day.
stacked birthday today on the 26th of October. This day. Today's also National Pumpkin Day. Started my carving last night with my son's pumpkin. Of course, we got halfway through it. I had to put it down, so I'm going to finish it tonight here on National Pumpkin Day. All right, I've got 2 movies, a TV show, and 2 video games for you to guess on. Well, semi-video games to guess on this day in history. All right, you ready? First up, this day, 2001. A lot of hints I could give, but I will just say Frank the Bunny. Frank the Bunny. Anything?
Frank the Bunny?
Frank the Bunny.
What is this? You said a movie?
Yeah. 2000 and what did I say? 1?
Frank the Bunny.
Mm-hmm. 2001. Yep. I will tell you that I don't know if it's going to help because if you don't know Frank the Bunny, you don't know this movie. So you're probably not going to get it. This is a movie that I will not spoil for anyone out there, but you can only watch it once, and you'll never be able to watch it again the same way.
I don't think I'm going to pull this rabbit out of my hat.
Frank the Rabbit. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, my goodness. Donnie Darko?
Donnie Darko is correct. Yes,
Oh, my
Donnie
gosh.
Darko, this day, 2001. I guess you could say that for any movie. Like, once you watch it once, it's never the same.
Yeah.
But if you've seen Donnie Darko,
Yeah.
you know you watch the movie completely differently after you watch it once, and you know exactly what happens at the end. Not a spoiler alert in any way. Just go watch Donnie Darko. It's a great flick. Came out this day, 2001. All right, this day, 2000. It is a video game. It's video game related because the hint is the best-selling console in history. Debuted in the United States this day, 2000.
I actually am almost positive I know this, Matt. I think I actually used this as a trivia question when I hosted. It's the PlayStation 2.
PS2
Yeah.
released
Yep.
in the United States this day, 2000. The Fontana household went through like 3 PS2s. And there were stories like kids that I knew or, parents later would tell, like the craze of getting, you couldn't find them. And there were people staking out at stores and waiting for it was the hottest ticket. So we didn't have one early. Like, eventually, when my parents got us one later, because then the flip was, remember the PS Slims that came out? I don't know why. Probably because there were 5 boys in our household and we were really rough on equipment. It was always the power cord went out for us. The power cord never worked for us on our PlayStation for some reason. Yes, the PS2 released this day, 2000. Favorite game ever on a PlayStation 2? Go.
Easy answer for me. Sly 2.
Okay.
I was obsessed
Gran
with
Turismo.
that Sly Cooper. Oh my gosh, that just brought me back.
I played so many hours on Gran Turismo 3. So many hours. Because it was it would take you forever to finish that game. So, crank out or get up to get the PS2 back out and play it. And here we go. All right, back to the movie side of things. This day, 1983, a film released in the United States. I'll be back.
Terminator.
The Terminator is correct.
Never seen it.
Well, the first one.
Any of them.
Really? So that is one of the film series that everybody says T2, Terminator 2 is actually better. It's one of the few ones that the sequel is better than the first one, mostly because they turn Arnold and the Terminator into a good guy in the second one. The first one's fine. The second one is better. T2 is a great movie. I would tell you, you probably need to see one to know what's going on in the second one. But if you ever want to watch just T2, which is again, a great movie. Just to ask me, and I'll tell you what you need to know going into Terminator 2.
Isn't the plot along the lines of like what's her name? It's like Sarah
Connor.
Yeah, and like he has to go back and like kill her, so like she doesn't give birth or something.
So Terminator, the first one is that in a futuristic dystopian world, right? We're at war with the machines. So many of these movies are us versus artificial intelligence that created these robots. So they find out. The machines find out when the leader of the human resistance was born. And they say, well, if we can go back and kill him or kill the mom before he even shows up, then we'll win this war. So the humans find out and they say, all right, we got to send this guy back in time to save Sarah Connor. And lo and behold, he's the one that impregnates her. So he saves her from Arnold and the bad Terminator. He's a machine, but he's, looks like a human, all that kind of stuff. So that's the general plot of the first one. Then in the second one, they come back to try to kill the kid. He's a teenager. His mom is locked away in a mental facility because she's telling all these people about futuristic people and whatever. She's crazy. So they put her in this thing. So then this other Terminator shows up to kill the kid. And the humans send Arnold back to protect him. It's a better movie. There's more action scenes. There's a couple of scenes that were like for the time, and I think, 80 whatever they made it. It was like, really big of what they did in T2. T2 is really good. I like Terminator 2 is very good. It's worth your watch if you ever want to see it. All right, next up, a television show. Do you want to even try to guess? You're not going to get it.
Oh, let's try.
You're not going to get it.
Let's try.
Okay. 1982 television show. The hint that will not help you in any way is that this is my mom's favorite TV show of all time. Your hint is my mom was a nurse. So this is a medical show.
Okay.
Cast is outstanding. William Daniels, a young Denzel Washington was in this. Howie Mandel, Ed Begley Jr. And the whole plot was, it was surrounding a hospital that you never wanted to get sent to. It was a learning hospital, a practice hospital. And you never wanted to get sent there because if you got sent there, you probably weren't going to get taken care of well. Ed Flanders. I could picture the theme in my head because it makes me think of my mom.
No idea.
This was on TV Guide's 2002 list of the greatest 50 TV shows of all time, ranking number 20. It earned 13 daytime Emmys for its writing, acting, and directing.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of the TV show Saint Elsewhere?
No.
Never even heard of it?
Never even heard of it.
Saint Elsewhere. It was a fictional hospital, I think in Boston, and it was like a learning hospital. So again, they called it Saint Elsewhere because you wanted to go anywhere else other than this hospital because you probably weren't going to get saved. So Saint Elsewhere. So there, William Daniel, Ed Begley Jr., a young Denzel Washington, Howie Mandel.
What? I've never really looked up young Howie Mandel. I'm about to do it right now.
Oh, with his hair? Go look at his hair.
I didn't even know he had ever had
He
hair.
looks like Bernie. There is
really?
an era of 80s Howie Mandel and 80s Bernie Kosar. You can't tell them apart.
Oh my gosh, he does.
I told you. What did I say?
He does.
What did I say? Can you pull it up on the screen? Can you pull it up on the other screen?
Yeah, I can.
Pull up 80s Bernie and 80s Howie Mandel. You can't tell them apart. They look exactly the same. Good-looking guys. I literally, as a kid growing up, because my mom was my mom's favorite show, watched St. Elsewhere all the time. I thought Bernie Kosar was on St. Elsewhere. I swear to God. I swear to God. Right?
No, you're
right.
You're absolutely right.
Telling you.
I'm gonna get them pulled up.
He's pulling it up here in a second. For an older generation, they don't even need the pictures. They're like, yeah, we know. We remember the 80s. We were there. We were there. Hey.
Right.
So that's Howie Mandel.
Hold on.
Oh, is that not on the screen yet?
No, I'm pulling
That's
them
preview. All right, you're preview it up. Sorry. Just overtake me. That's fine. You know, that's fine. That's perfect. That's perfect. Tell me that. Look. Bernie.
Yeah.
Bernie. And then Howie Mandel.
Oh my gosh, they do.
I told you. As a kid growing up, I swear to God, I thought Bernie Kosar was on St. Elsewhere.
Wow, that's crazy. I thought it was gonna be one of those things, like they kind of look alike, but wow, they do look. Wow, that is crazy. I've never seen Howie Mandel with hair.
You probably know Howie Mandel from the
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal, right?
America's Got Talent. Now,
yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. Howie Mandel, Bernie Kosar, man. Separated at birth. I don't know what to tell you. There it is. So St. Elsewhere debuted this day, 1982. Final one video game for you. Your hint is that when this game was released in North America in 1980, it was originally called Puck-Man before the name was changed to...
Is it just Pac-Man?
Pac-Man. This day, 1980 released. Very good, Ryan.
Matt, I have some trivia. I'm pretty sure this is still the record hold, but the best-selling game of all time.
I believe that.
No, I'm asking you. Do you know what it is?
Oh, do I?
It's along the lines of a game like Pac-Man.
It's probably and it's not Pac-Man.
No,
I don't think it's Super Mario Brothers.
It's a much more simple game.
Yeah, so it's got to be not Donkey Kong. It's not like don't Google because then I'll see it. I'm looking away from the screen.
Well, I saw it, so okay. It looks like it's still confirmed. So Minecraft is 2.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, it's on. It's not Galaga.
No, but like you're on the right.
I loved Galaga.
Yeah, but you're on the right.
I know that it's like what Pac-Man Galaga. Oh my God. I know it's gonna be. Yeah, it's like it's. Oh my God, it's not Donkey Kong, not Super Mario Brothers. Like, I'm assuming it's still like an arcade console game, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it's not Pac-Man. What's the other one that I'm missing? Mrs. Pac-Man? I don't know. Tell me.
Tetris.
I can mess around with some Tetris. You ever watch a pro Tetris player?
No. They're probably insane.
Dude, they have custom controllers. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Where they're like the controller is like this. They're holding it like that. And then you got something on the side with the buttons because you got to not only twist it and turn it, but then you have to change, like, obviously twist it, turn and change it, but then you got to move where it goes. Go watch any pro Tetris player. You can watch videos anywhere, and they have them online. It is some of the most insane video games that you'll ever see in your life. Like, there are people that play video games professionally. You ever watch like somebody go for the high score in Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Or Mortal Kombat or something like that? Watch some pros play, dude. It is insane. I should have gotten that. Tetris is correct. Well done on that. All right, let's get to our bets for tonight with Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150. Get signed up. You get your $30 in bonus bets. You get your $150 in bonus bets. So here's what you get. You go to Tipico.com. Download the app, use the code BIGPLAY150. You deposit $50, you get $150 in bonus bets, plus that $30 dog pound bet, futures bet, and you can wager with us all season long on Big Play. We got you covered, too, on the betting. So Big Play, Big Bets, that's tomorrow with Nick and Dave, and Ted Ginn Jr. joins that. They replay that on the weekends. I know all the shows are really in tune with the betting as well. So download that Tipico app and use that code BIGPLAY150. Let's start with Tampa Bay, Buffalo tonight. Ryan, 9.5 point spread. This opened at 8.5. It is all the way to 9.5 because as far as the public money goes on this game, 76% of it is on Buffalo to cover. I have some places that open at 10. But anyway, it's 9.5 right now. Let's get down to some trends and tell you what we think. Tampa Bay comes in. They are just 4-10 against the spread their last 14 games. But they are 7-1-1 against the spread their last 9 games against Buffalo. And they are 8-3 against the spread their last 11 games against Buffalo. As far as Tampa, though, they are 0-6 against the spread their last 6 games against an AFC opponent. The under seems to be the play for Tampa. Under has hit 6 out of their last 7 games and 8 out of their last 10 road games. You flip it over for Buffalo, they're not much better right now. 3-6 against the spread their last 9 games, but they are 12-4 straight up in their last 16 games and 15-3 straight up in their last 18 games at home. As far as Buffalo on Thursday Night Football, the under has hit in all 5 of their last games on Thursday Night Football. It's a big number, though, Ryan. It is 9.5. What do you got? Tampa Bay, Buffalo.
Maybe this is me just hoping for a good game, but I'm going to go Bucks to cover that.
I usually have the rule of thumb, the under and the dog on Thursday Night Football. I'm going to take Buffalo, though, to cover. I think they're trying to get things turned around in the right way there. And there's some concerning things I think with Buffalo or with Tampa Bay. Like, and this isn't meant to be a shot at Baker. This is meant to be some commentary on him. But like, we know when it kind of starts going bad there, it starts going bad a little bit there with Baker. I think it's more about Tampa. I think it's going to slide. I don't think it'll go well. 2 games in the association tonight, Philadelphia and Milwaukee. This is a 6-point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Make your wager there, Ryan.
Where's that game at? Is it in Milwaukee?
It is in Milwaukee, yeah.
6 points. I'll take Bucks to cover.
Bucks are the cover here. Philly is only 4-8 against the spread their last 12 games against Milwaukee. They're 3-9 straight up in those 12 games against the Bucks. For the Bucks, though, I mean, it's a new season, so it is what it is. So I'm going to take the Bucks in that one. Phoenix, Lakers. Lakers a 5.5-point spread favorite here. This is a home game for the Lakers, by the way. It's at crypto.com. 5.5. I like the Suns. My gut said Suns after seeing what they did to open the season up.
Yeah, I would bet Suns, and I think I saw it's like the first regular season matchup between LeBron and KD since like 20 or 5 years.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. So there we go. So we're gonna take. Man, this open is a 1-point favorite. It's all the way to 5.5 now for the Lakers. Is Phoenix sitting some? I'm assuming Durant might not play. Is he not? I don't know. Like, why would that move that much? That seems like a giant line to move. I don't know. Nonetheless, I'm going to ride Suns tonight. I will also take the Bucks, and I will take the Bills tonight. Let's get to our bracket. Matt Fontana Show on Twitter. We're asking everybody your favorite Halloween character. We started with 16. We will now be down to 4. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees advanced. Group number 3, Beetlejuice. Ryan, congratulations. You were on the Beetlejuice train.
That's why I came to work this morning.
They get it done. 44% of the vote. They advance. Leatherface finishes in second. Pumpkinhead and Jack Torrance finished last. Maybe it's because not a true Halloween person, potentially.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they, like, obviously we all know The Shining, but when you first said Jack Torrance, it didn't click to me that, that was Jack Nicholson.
All right, we'll see. And then in group number 4, Freddy Krueger ran away with it. 67% of the vote there. Chucky, Jigsaw, and Jack Skellington. I'm very sad. I voted for Jack. He only gets 6% of the vote, so he's on the way out the door. So our finals are set. We will send that video or send that tweet out at Matt Fontana Show. And speaking of at Matt Fontana Show, Ryan, we have a winner. We had a contest going yesterday for a chance to win a free shirt from us here at Big Play. I wanted to say Tipico, but it was Big Play. It was just us. We have a winner. You had to project the exact point total for Donovan Mitchell. Do we want to say the winner? Do we have the winner? Do you have the name?
I can pull it up right now.
All right, pull it up, please, because we got a winner there. So follow us at Matt Fontana Show. We're going to sprinkle in these giveaways throughout the year. So congratulations to Ryan Tyler.
Shout out to who got the exact point total, 27, to David at Big Papa 5 David.
All right, congratulations to David. We'll be in contact with him to get his T-shirt. Well done there. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back 9 to 11 tomorrow. Enjoy the games tonight. Basketball, Thursday night football. And I just want to end with saying I think it's time to set aside Deshaun Watson. I get angry about it. I get upset about it. There's nothing more to be done. He's out. The Browns made the right move. And tomorrow will be a lot of finding the way for the Browns to get that victory over the Seattle Seahawks. This week has been turbulent again when it came to the Browns. There's been a lot of questions asked, not a lot of answers. So it's really time to focus in on the game and what the Browns need to do to get one Sunday. I think there's a good chance they'll do that. So we'll discuss all that tomorrow. We'll have our plays. We will have our Friday report card. We'll have everything locked and loaded for you, gearing you up for a weekend of football from 9 to 11 tomorrow right here on Big Play. Don't go anywhere. 12 to 2. Chico Borman going to be coming up. And then tonight, Booby Gibson. Booby's World talking about a big opening win for the Cavs last night. So we got it all for you right here on Big Play. Appreciate the support today, as always. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.